Welcome back, everybody, as we're getting ready to go into game number 2 here of this crazy, crazy set of games. Very back and forth game, that last one, huh, Jeff?
Man, that was awesome. That was I mean, both teams made really really good plays, and I think both teams made some mistakes, but it all ended up being so even for so long. And it really could have gone either way. I think that White Wolf did a really good job to keep their composure when they were facing down 9 lives with those two big buffs. They were willing to let them take the two inhibs, just survive and get another chance, and that's what they did. They ended up seizing on that chance and really really good play.
Yeah, they did a really good job identifying that, hey, we have the wave clear, we can hold, we just need to regain our footing, and then we can make our strike back. And it's exactly what they did. There were a bunch of bloody fights, like we said there were going to be. Very exciting game, and I'm hoping to see another very exciting but maybe faster game too.
Yeah, it's interesting because we did see White Wolf. They drafted, kind of a run at you, get in your face comp, but then they were the ones who were on the back foot early in the game, so they weren't really able to utilize that in the mid game the way they probably would have wanted to.
All right, so pick ban adaptation. Are you expecting anything different from either team here coming into picks and bans?
I feel like I might expect an Urgot ban. I don't know. I mean, if you ban the Urgot, then that means you're probably leaving up, maybe the Shen. You already are leaving up the Anivia, and that's already a champion that many people would say you should ban against White Wolf no matter what. So it's tricky. I really thought that 9 Lives drafted pretty well in that last game. I like taking the Morgana away because I really feel like the Morgana would have completed the Exodia comp of White Wolf. But in the end, yeah, I wouldn't say there were any necessarily draft errors from 9 Lives there. I think that White Wolf just out executed them in some crucial moments.
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely moments, like we said before, that both teams like kind of outmaneuvered and outperformed each other in certain fights, but White Wolf eventually ending up getting the better portion of that. Definitely had to work from behind from the beginning too. So big credit to them for being able to make that comeback in the game, but definitely not to understate 9 Lives' aggression and their ability to generate that lead.
Yeah, it's interesting. If the comps had been reversed, I almost feel like 9 Lives runs away with that game. But 9 Lives was the team that sort of had more disengage, more like kite back, let's take some extended fights, play around the map. Where as White Wolf were the ones who had the comp to force the issue. So unfortunately, 9 Lives weren't really able to capitalize on their early advantage the way they might have wanted to. Tristana ban again. That was early in the rotation last time as well. And if you're, I know you asked me about both teams, but I centered mostly on 9 Lives, so apologies for that. But was there anything you had in mind that you believe White Wolf maybe will change up in the ban phase?
Well, it seems that they've already got. I don't necessarily know if pick ban was done poorly by either team, just
Mm-hmm.
because both teams played very well, and I think if you swap out some of the picks that went through, like Anivia, for some of the other bans that they had, the game still goes a similar fashion based on how the players were performing. But it looks like it looks like 9 Lives is really taking out what has kind of been shining more from White Wolf these past couple of weeks. That Anivia is
Hmm.
kind of notorious, needs to be banned, and Odin definitely earning that Urgot ban. Huge on the other hand, absolutely earning that. Malzahar ban was very annoying and very impactful. Very annoying to deal with for the side of White Wolf. Very impactful for the side of Nine Lives.
And so with that, Anivia and Urgot being subbed in as bans sort of now, you've got other threats to worry about if you are Nine Lives. And now the first pick, Kaisa, obviously a comfort pick for Ravane, taking that away from Andy. So obviously we understand banning away the Anivia and Urgot after what they did last game, but it's kind of out of the frying pan into the fryer.
We do see that White Wolf opted to leave the Galio open and ban the Malzahar instead. So Huge historically has played a lot of Galio mid, performed very well on it. Do you think we're gonna see that?
Well, they'd better pick it on their next pick, because I don't think that it would make it into second phase. Wraith Ghost on Ornn. I want to shout out Wraith Ghost again. I think that Wraith Ghost has played really, really well these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, his performance on the Cho'Gath was another very troublesome force for the side of White Wolf to deal with. The Shen goes through, so they opt to pick that up. I might have banned the Shen instead of the Jax, but I see Wraith Ghost pays his respects the other way around.
Yeah, I personally agree with you, but I would imagine that Nine Lives probably has done more scouting than I have at this point. But we had Ace last week calling Shen Greatbeard of Odin's best champion, so I'm sure that they're very, very happy to have that right now. Thresh actually coming out for Chiseled Chansey, presumably, unless they do something crazy. And Thresh is a champion we haven't seen a lot of in the LCUS, but last week we saw it, and so that makes 2 in 2 weeks.
Thresh paired with Jinx could be a very scary lane for White Wolf to deal with. With the Hook Flay paired with the Flame Chompers, it's going to be really scary, especially since they're not going to have the option of potentially putting the Morgana down there to help dissuade that. We see the Olaf banned away from Idolites, definitely a strong force in that last game. Skarner banned away from Mixed Link, paying his respects there.
They don't want to pay the tax.
Nobody wants to pay that tax. We got the Malzahar ban, we got the Skarner ban. No taxes here. Lux did end up getting picked up by the side of White Wolf here. Potential flux between Ace and Wishbone. So that makes me think
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That makes me think that Lux is more likely to land on the mid lane. We do see the Galio here, so there is the potential that we see Ace pick something like Vayne into the Galio here and then give the Lux over to Wishbone.
That's a good call out. I like the Thresh. I know you're talking about the Hook, the Flame Chompers, but I also think that Thresh works really, really well within a mobile AD carry. And Jinx obviously can eventually get to the point where she runs really fast, but no dashes, no blinks. So I think that Thresh is a really good pairing with a hyper carry champion like this. And
I like
coming out. Mixlink played that well last week, I believe it was.
I like the Amumu here because it's just a solid choice to go, just a general CC bot. We see the Nico picked up, which I would have to assume would be piloted by Ace, no?
Would think so as well. I guess I have seen Nico support in the past. I wouldn't say that it is, a great support champion. It is functional at times.
And
but
it does look like they are going to trade it over, so we are going to see Ace on this Nico, and Wishbone on the Lux. So
man, this is interesting. We've got almost sort of mirrored comps. Both teams seem to be playing Protect the AD carry. I mean, obviously there's some other functional components of these comps, but if the AD carry dies early for either team, I think that it's fight over.
Well, that's not necessarily true because we saw Gregosaurus last set really showing the potentials of Nico doing so much damage for his team in both games and able to stay alive, especially well in that second game. I think this is going to be a pretty much if Jinx dies fight over, but White Wolf still has a hope if Kaisa dies, sort of
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah, we'll see how those ults come out from Ace, because yeah, absolutely, Gregosaur's landed some big ones in that last set of games. But if Andy's able to avoid those, Nico's such a cooldown dependent champion that if those don't land, what do you do for the next 8 seconds?
Comparing these teams to last game, I think Nine Lives kind of stepped up on their ability to have more disengage while still having great engage, whereas White Wolf actually has a little bit of disengage now, but still both teams finding a lot of great engage, and it's not necessarily centered on I'm gonna run at you really fast anymore.
Gosh,
So
these,
I like
yeah.
both of these teams, but I have to go with. I'm gonna give the edge to White Wolf on this one, just
Hmm.
because I don't like having one carry comps.
Hmm.
Because if that Jinx does die, um, it's very problematic for the side of Nine Lives here. Hecarim can do some decent damage, Galio can do some decent damage, and Ornn is broken.
Tank,
Um,
carry, assassin, mage, support.
is broken. But Jinx is definitely going to be the focus here, and I just hope that they give Andy enough tools to stay alive in fights. And Andy has done a great job in the last game, skirting around the sides of the fights, staying back, staying alive, doing a lot of damage, doing his job. And it's going to be interesting seeing how Nine Lives handles basically all being on his back this game.
Yeah, I absolutely agree that I think these cops are very similar, but I do think that White Wolf has more flexibility, more leeway, where, obviously you talked about the Nico, but also even Wishbone on Lux. I mean, support Lux can still pump out insane amounts of damage. I just think it's funny how these comps, not only are they, for the most part, at least in my opinion, protect the AD carry comps, but they both even have, you know, like global ults
Yeah,
that come in.
Shen and Galio just,
Yeah,
hey, I'm here to save you.
yeah, it's so funny how both teams have these similar styles where it's going to be a Mumu or maybe Ace jumping in early with Greatbeard of Odin, and then it's going to be probably Hecarim, maybe Thresh jumping in on the side of Nine Lives, and then you just going to come over the top. So it's going to be really interesting to see who is able to be more assertive, and it might be a game where it snowballs for whoever gets the early advantage.
Yeah, and the double-edged sword of having the one carry comp, like with the Jinx, is you only have the one carry, but your team is a lot more durable than the enemy team. So if they can protect that Jinx and Andy can pop off on this Jinx, which is definitely not outside the realm of possibility, this is going to be a very scary team for White Wolf to deal with, even with all the tools that they do have. We see foreskins from both
Mm.
teams. Um,
And very fast load.
After the quick glance at it all, I think I'd have to. I think I liked Nine Lives skins more.
Okay. Uh, I'm gonna lean. I'm gonna lean White Wolf. I like. I wasn't a huge fan of either lineup, to be honest, but I'm not really a big fan of Firecracker Jinx. So
Yeah,
that might be
that's
decided
a
for me.
slight consideration into mine. Firecracker Jinx, I don't mind. It's not her best skin, but it's far from her worst.
Sure.
I really do like the bot lane skinergy of White Wolf here, though. But Dark Star Thresh and the Hecarim skin just kind of do it for me, you know?
Yeah, I get that. It's also funny. I've been playing this game for 10 years, and I've never heard this term Skinergy before.
No?
I've never heard that before. I don't know how. Maybe I'm just a bad listener,
We talk
but
about it all the time here.
I've never heard it. I guess I need to pay better attention.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we could get you this learning experience.
Every day is a lesson. Sounds like something like Yasuo would say or something. Anyway, looks like we're gonna have the jungler starting on opposite sides again, like last game. Mixlink on the bot side, Idolites up in the top side. Still no level 1 aggression. I mean, I guess there was a little last game.
Yeah, they got the flash forced out of Wraith Ghost.
And then it was never capitalized upon. Gonna be a little bit of an annoying matchup for Huge. The range versus melee matchup. And because of the desynced jungle starts, Chisel Chansey and Andy have gotten a pretty early XP advantage down this bot lane. The wave is pushed a little bit down the lane, but if they get this level 2 and see an opening, it could be dangerous for Ravane and Wishbone.
They are going to be able to track Idolites here a little bit better, though, since they know that he started the top side. They get a ward in on the blue buff. They're going to kind of know he's there. Chisel Chansey walks up there. He's spotted, gives Andy a little bit of solo XP. So he is going to be level 2 earlier, but Chisel Chansey will get that level 2 in just a moment here.
Yeah, Chisel Chansey is actually the only one in this lane not level 2 yet at this point.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, Greybeard Odin has done a lot of damage to Wraith Ghost up here, really asserting her dominance.
Yeah, I think that's an unspoken intricacy of being a good Shen player. Is, you think about the ults, the taunts as he lands one right there on cue, but it's also just understanding the trade patterns. And I think that Greybeard of Odin really does that really well in these lane matchups. His Idolites dashes right in onto Ace, but
does hit the right Nico also. But
yeah,
not going to cost him anything. It's just going to cost Idolites his Ghost to try to make it happen. So kind of worth for the side of White Wolf. Doesn't really lose anything.
And now Ace is actually hooking onto Idolites. Misses the snare, though. Otherwise, that probably would have been
if he hits the snare, that is 100% a kill there.
And that would have been huge. A Nico with double buffs
Huge
in
misses
this
the
range
knockup.
matchup. There's a snare that lands. I think Huge should be fine.
Does get the taunt at max range, but it's just going to keep him alive pretty much.
And Huge, yeah, Huge will have to burn the teleport here, otherwise he's going to miss way too many minions. Mixlink just pathing on through, and it looks like Mixlink is going to get both Scuttle Crabs, so that's a pretty big deal.
Does get the root onto Huge as he charges back in. Did burn the TP to get back to lane.
Got Mixlink coming down towards the bot side. Chisel Chansey, I like the positioning there of the Thresh, just staying behind the Jinx, understanding threat was going to come, being ready with that Lantern.
Chisel Chansey taking a little bit of chip damage. Mixlink spotted out on that ward and very respectfully disengaged by the bot lane of 9 lives here.
Wraith Ghost misses the knockup onto Odin. Does have a big minion wave advantage, so Odin can't really trade into this now. But Odin should pick up, well, probably will pick up a slight CS advantage with this big wave crashing in now.
Yeah, Dragon just spawned. Nobody's really positioned to gain vision control of it just yet, besides for that scuttle picked up by Mixlink.
Chisel Chansey still at an XP disadvantage down the bot lane from that roam up the river. Level 3 versus level 4, not really as big of a deal as, say, level 2 versus level 1, but could be impactful if there's an all-in.
Absolutely.
And Idolites looking up towards the top side. Ghost not available yet. Greybeard of Odin is actually going to run right into him. Oh, and that's a nice knockout from Wraith Ghost. Can they get behind Odin? They don't quite get the angle perfect on the knockback, but they do force the flash.
Yeah, good flash by Odin to disengage from that. Knew he was in a lot of trouble and has to burn it. is going to kind of give up his CS advantage up here, though, because of it. But rather that than die and do the same thing.
I would imagine Odin will... I think he's not going to use his teleport. And I'm not sure... I think Wraith Ghost could have set up a pretty good freeze up there. It's Huge and Ace brawling in the mid lane. Looks like Wraith Ghost is just going to try to push that wave and recall, but I think he might have been able to position that wave to really freeze in an advantageous spot for himself. Meanwhile, Drake picked up 4 free for White Wolf.
Yeah, and we see Cloud Drake will be the next one spawning in about 5 minutes here. So that means this game we're either getting a Ocean or Infernal Soul, which is going to be very interesting. If it's Infernal Soul, that's terrifying for whichever team does not receive it.
Yeah, absolutely. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does Infernal Soul proc off of every Jinx rocket if she has Hurricane?
I think it would.
I believe it does, and that's just crazy.
I haven't played Jinx enough lately to accurately recall, but I think it would.
Honestly, I've always thought it was crazy that the rockets proc like their AoE damage off of Hurricane to begin with. So if you add another element of AoE bonus damage off of every single one of those rockets, that just sounds crazy to me. I kind of hope we see it. Oh, Snare just barely misses onto Chisel Chansey. That could have been a big deal.
Something kind of pointed out by chat, that Mountain Drake would have been super good for the side of 9 Lives here because of how much beef they have.
Sure, yeah, good point.
Just been basically twice as good as it is for White Wolf here. Which
nice
makes
interrupt on the recall.
All the more valuable for White Wolf to have taken it.
Yeah, really, really good point there. You got an Ornn, a Galio, and a Hecarim and a Thresh all getting those that bonus tankiness. Big deal. Huge staying relatively close in this mid lane in terms of CS. A little tricky in the range versus melee matchup. We did see Ace force him to burn the teleport early, so some advantage gained there. Now Ace looking for Idolites. Could be a dangerous situation.
Just scaring him off of his ward.
Oh, they're jumping back in. This may go very, very wrong. If we may get a 1v2 here. Mixlink is here. Actually, it's all of a sudden a 3v2 as Odin and Mixlink both show up. And now Wraith Ghost all alone has to just flash and dash away. Brilliantly set up play by White Wolf.
Wraith Ghost really wishing he could still cancel his TP there. Unfortunately, has to burn the flash as well just to stay safe. Andy fired a rocket up there to hit, but it wasn't going to do anything with those health bars.
Oh, Wraith Ghost.
He's doing a lot of damage to Wraith Ghost.
Yeah. And Andy in trouble, has to flash away from the binding. Everything going White Wolf play right now.
We've got Mixlink and Great Beard of Odin gonna secure this Rift Herald here. Interesting to see if they want to use it right away or if they want to wait for a better opportunity. Ace managed to...
Nice taunt. Ace able to use the clone dashing away, and I don't think that Huge has any more chase.
Chisel Chansey is here though.
Flash is available?
Unfortunately, just a little too far away. Idolites, no ghost, no ult, not gonna chase that any further. They are gonna summon the Rift Herald in the top lane here. Wraith Ghost really far away. Charge is gonna go off. Tower should not die before he gets there, but definitely
catch
not.
on to Ace at the mid lane again, but I think he'll just walk away again with that clone. So, at this point, if you're White Wolf, basically every single play has gone in your favor so far in this game. Mixlink even gets the crab right in front of Idolites there.
Yeah, sees him walking up and says, "No, I'm gonna smite this to make sure it goes my way." Dragon up in 45. Both junglers will have smite available for that. Currently, smite advantage is for Mixlink, but One level is not that much, but not that much does make all the difference sometimes.
Absolutely, and we talked about it being either an Infernal or a an Ocean Soul. If you're White Wolf, I know we talked, or maybe I talked a lot about the potential Jinx interaction. But if you're White Wolf, who are obviously in the driver's seat of this game right now, which one would you prefer?
For
Actually,
Ocean,
lands the hook onto Wishbone, but teleport coming in from the back. Oh my goodness, it's a double teleport. They get right in onto Andy AoE. We know that Jinx needed to stay alive. Does not. Huge drops as well. The Galio ult, not quite as impactful as they probably would have hoped. Just a
Galio
chance he
ult's
walked away
not
from
even
the
gonna
sword.
go off, gets rooted up and taken down. Back on the subject of the soul, I think I'd rather have Infernal Soul for the side of White Wolf here, just because, and they're gonna have Infernal Soul will be the soul for this game. I think it's more valuable to have Infernal Soul against a comp that you basically need to have a lot of damage against, because if they have 3 solid tanks and a pseudo tank in, well, 2 solid tanks and 2 pseudo tanks, it's really nice to have that extra damage just to make sure you can get through those tanks. Soul is really nice, or Ocean Soul is really nice if you want to put sieges in, but with Infernal Soul you don't even need to worry about sieging if you can just kill them outright.
And also, yeah, absolutely. And it's not like there's a lot of poke that's going to be coming out from 9 lives or anything like that.
Odin
So,
in a
or
little bit of
coming
trouble up here.
Yeah, they're looking for Greatbeard of Odin. Does have a little blast cone there. I'm not sure. Oh, nifty little moves, and I think he will actually escape as we've got action on the bot side as well. Hook just barely misses from Chisel Chansey. Teleport came down from Huge as well, but that will not garner them any advantage. Ace up in the top lane now. He is looking for something. Wraith goes to Zoom. Nice little juke on the root.
I think they decided that if they go to the person,
Mixling.
if they go to the person that's able to get everywhere else on the map and help everyone else out, they're not going to be able to have somebody help him out.
Yeah, that is kind of a an old adage. Attack the global. But Greatbeard of Odin does a good job there utilizing every single tool on the map and within his own inventory.
Huge is going to take Scuttle on his way back up to the mid lane here.
Wraith goes has to be a little bit respectful of the potential burst damage from Ace.
Ace tries to get as many turrets as he can. We see Ace is going Noon Quiver, so this is going to be on hit Nico.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely, which makes him very, very potent in the split push. Look at Mixling just waddling in so quickly onto Chisel Chansey. Curse of the Sad Mummy comes down. Andy able to strafe away from it. Here comes Final Spark, though, but Chisel Chansey will be able to walk away.
Ravane opts not to follow that with the Killer Instinct. A little bit of respect for the damage potential there, and tower goes down in the top lane.
Yeah, Idle Ace is dead, I think. One more auto. Yeah, Ace flashes for it.
I think Odin could have potentially finished that off, but better safe than sorry. Flash to get the kill, and Huge is trying to get something done in the mid lane here. Is gonna catch Mixlink while he's trying to escape, and ends up forcing Mixlink's flash out. Kind of interesting little interaction there in the mid lane.
There's been a lot of different plays that have gone on around the map, but taking stock now at 15 minutes, we've got 2 Drake advantage for White Wolf, nearly a 4,000 gold advantage, and we've got this solo carry comp on the side of 9 lives. It looks pretty scary from their perspective right now.
Odin deciding he doesn't have much to gain in the top lane right now, so goes around taking some of Idolites' red side jungle. We got a root landing on the bot lane.
Chansey goes in on it. Chompers don't quite land, so Wishbone able to walk away. Andy really wanted that kill, but can't get in for it. final spark comes across. Chisel Chansey survives just barely. Wraith Ghost in the back line now, but gonna have to walk away. The Plasma Stack's about to pop. Greatbeard of Odin has shown up. There's a hook onto the Shen, not necessarily the one that you want. One more auto attack will kill Wraith Ghost. Lantern just barely, and now Odin will just shadow dash back over the wall.
Gets the chem tank available just at the end of that. Unfortunate that he can't chase that a little earlier. Yeah, Ravine tries to go in with the Killer Instincts, but gets stopped up on the Flame Chompers right away. Very unfortunate he couldn't get into that fight to clean up Chiseled Chansey earlier.
And Odin actually took that blue buff. It looked like Ace was coming over thinking that he would pick it up, but Odin takes it. He says, hey, I showed up. I saved the play bot lane. I get something for my efforts. Meanwhile, bot lane tower did go down on the side of White Wolf, so inflated to about a 5,000 gold lead now.
Yeah, we've got Dragon up in less than 15 seconds. The outer ring has been fully cracked, and Wraith Ghost gets kind of caught out here at the Dragon.
White Wolf has to be careful how much they chase it, though, because they have 2 members in base, whereas all 5 members of 9 lives are here. This could actually go pretty poorly. They do pick up Greatbeard of Odin. About 3 members pretty low, though, so 9 lives, they might still be able to control the Dragon Pit at this point, but they do give away a kill for some, in my opinion, over-aggression there.
Wraith Ghost extremely low. Interesting that he chose to stay here.
Yeah, Mixlink goes in again. Idolites will drop, and that's a great double root by Ace. In goes Ravine, capitalizing immediately. Andy AoE is able to get one, but the Jinx is gone, which, as we said, spells disaster for this team composition. The seesaw continues. Both teams make some questionable decisions there, but it's White Wolf that comes out on top.
Yeah, White Wolf's starting to make some sacrifices for these plays, but still working out in their favor. Huge shows up, but Ravine is not going to bother even... does cancel his recall. Huge manages to kill Wishbone on the backside of things, and Ravine's just going to help finish this off with Ace. They could have potentially killed Huge there. It looks like Odin's looking for it. Chem tank, taunt does not land.
Ooh, root just barely. Doesn't catch the tail feathers of the Galio.
Rift Herald just spawns, and there's pings on it already saying we need that. All right, so White Wolf, 5k, 6k gold ahead, 7 kills up, 3 dragons up, Rift Herald up, about to be 2 Rift Heralds. 18.5 minutes in the game. You're on the side of 9 lives. What are you doing right now? What do you need to do to get back into this game?
I see 2 members in the bot lane. I'm not sure if 2 members in the bot lane are necessary, but I understand you need to get some gold into Andy's pockets. I mean, obviously, he is the sole carry on this comp, basically. But also, you just need to find trades, I think. You're not going to win full engagements. So if there's any chance to ever trade an objective, just trade a kill, even if you have to invest more resources into it, I think you're happy to do that right now. Right, Idolite and Huge chasing after Mixlink, but I don't think they'll catch him.
Big shutdown gold on both the primary carries for the side of White Wolf here. 400 gold bounty, 300 gold bounty, 4 kills, 3 kills respectively.
Thing is, with this Nico going on hit build, going AD, it does make White Wolf's composition extremely imbalanced in terms of damage type. So if this game gets extended out with so much tankiness on the side of 9 lives, if they can all just stack up armor, it does become pretty difficult.
The problem with that, though, is Kraken Slayer gives you a little bit of true damage to help counteract that, as well as both Nico and Kaisa do a lot of magic damage with their on-hit abilities, so stacking armor isn't going to be all that you need to deal with this team.
See Huge rotating up to the top lane, trying to answer Odin's split push up there. So both of the globals are in gal. Oh, there's a nice hook onto Ace. That could be a big shutdown. They all dash in. They do kill the Nico, and it's before the ult pops. Mixlink gets knocked up. Ravine is on a rampage though. Takes down Chisel Chansey and Idolites. I think he's gone too deep. They don't get Mixlink, and now Huge is all alone in the middle. Andy, he has to be so careful about how he steps up. Taunt on the Great Beard of Odin should get everyone away. Rakos goes back in, and just a little bit of over-aggression there at the end of the fight, I think.
Yeah, they're trying to make the sacrifices for Andy to clean them up. Rift Herald is dropped in the mid lane before Mixlink says, I need to go back. So, going to do a lot of damage to this tower here. Huge fight in favor of White Wolf here. Started off pretty well for 9 Lives, able to take out Ace pretty early, but follow-up came through, and slowly but surely 9 Lives was falling.
That was an excellent initial pick on Ace. Great hook, great follow-up, but then maybe a little bit of overchase.
I was just looking at, before the fight started, just wanted to see the gold differential between the two AD carries, which before the fight was about 6,500 apiece. So despite having significantly less kills, the CS discrepancy that Andy AoE has here has neutralized the larger portion of that lead that his lane opponent has over him. However, it's about a 7,000 gold lead for the whole team across the board. So definitely still a mountain to climb for the side of 9 Lives here, but if they start to get this Jinx a little bit further online, anything is possible.
Mixlink gets up, but able to get away from the knockup. Meanwhile, up in the top side, Ace is just melting Wraith Ghost up there. The Ornn, one of the tankier champions in the game, just cannot stand up to that damage.
Does not have his resistances quite yet. Not enough of them at least, and just slowly but surely getting chipped away.
Gonna come down. Wishbone should just drop for free here, so a nice hook from Chiseled Chansey.
Yeah, that's a really good pick for the side of 9 Lives here. Unfortunately, kill went over to Huge, but that is probably the next person that you want that money to go over to, other than Andy. Huge is going to be
behind enemy lines, and they see him.
Basically,
not Ace. But this could be a difficult situation. Oh, they all chase the clone for a second. And I think Ace, they still have vision of him. We'll see how far they are able to chase. Infernal Drake is up. So
Root lands and is going to stop Chiseled Chansey from pushing forward. Drake is up, so teams have gone to reposition for that. Wishbone just respawned and is making her way back to this dragon. So as long as White Wolf can stall just a little bit, they'll probably have the upper hand in this fight.
This is a make or break fight for 9 Lives. You cannot give up the Infernal Soul when you are already 7,000 gold behind. It's being started up, and they're gonna have to get in there. Comes Call the Forge God. Drake already down to 3k though, and Mixlink is not even in the pit. He's just holding them off as Ravane finishes it. There's the Infernal Soul. They will not get Ace. Very, very close to taking him down, but can't do it. Wishbone really low. Andy trying to chase, and it will get actually cleaned up by 9 Lives. So
yeah, 9 Lives getting a lot of kills here, but they lose the Infernal Soul. So there's a really well navigated fight by them, really taking on White Wolf while they were focused more so on the dragon there. It looks like they're not going to opt for starting this Baron. Potentially could have done it with the Jinx there, but are going to respect the short respawn timers on the side of White Wolf.
Yeah, I think a little bit scared because maybe they knew that Ace and Odin both had teleport available, so
first
both of those
tower
characters show up.
In favor of 9 Lives, so starting
Ace
to get
looking to
some
chase.
set.
Oh, got Huge in the middle of his dash, but the Lantern will rescue the Galio for now.
Yeah, the clone able to stop the dash and say, you're staying right there, followed up by the root, but he is going to get out of there anyways. They notice the pony on the side, but you can't catch that pony. It looks like they're going to set up vision for Baron for themselves.
And if you're White Wolf, yeah, just
they are going to start it here. They have their 2 carries and their primary tank, so this Baron is going to melt very fast with this Infernal Soul on both of these on-hit champions.
And 9 lives, either they don't know what's happening, or they're just accepting that they can't take a fight at this point. There were 2 teleports available, they elect not to even approach it.
And I think you have to just concede that, just because even if you do have the two TPs go in, you don't have the rest of your team close enough to actually follow up on that, and you're basically throwing 2 TPs at a chance to steal Baron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Probably a well-tempered decision there from 9 lives. The gold lead is still about the same as it was a few minutes ago, but
actually
now
down
you've got
a little bit.
Baron and an Infernal Soul on top of it for White Wolf.
I didn't actually see who the shutdown gold on Ravane went to, but regardless, that was almost 1,000 gold into somebody's pocket, and that's pretty huge. And
yeah,
it
was into Andy's pocket. Andy did get the shutdown.
All right, now Andy is actually 500 gold up on the Kaisa here, but we see that Ace is up about 500 gold on Andy here, so.
And 4 members converge onto that bot lane, just destroy that turret so quickly. Huge and Odin brawling in the top lane a little bit.
We do see a 4-1 split here by both teams, and Huge is struggling to match Odin up here, but he's doing his best to clear as many of these super minions as he can. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, the rest of the push is going on. Idle Lights steps over in the mid lane, just make sure everything's okay there, and rejoins the group of 4.
And dodging the skill shots is just so important right now.
Yeah, especially with that Infernal Soul. You are in your base, so you can quickly walk back and heal up, but that
lands on to Ace. They're looking for him again. They get Ace again early in the fight, but Ravane is in the back, just free firing with that Infernal Soul. Andy walking up. He's gotten 2 so far. Now Ravane is exhausted. He dashes in, but I don't think that they have the damage still. A great play from 9 lives as Odin joins at the perfect time one more time.
Yeah, 9 lives pulling the trigger there. Everything looks so good for them. Andy AoE is popping off in that fight, but great Beard of Odin able to come in and keep Ravane alive and save the fight.
Yeah, the Stand United shield on top of the Killer Instinct shield. It was just all of a sudden, this Kaisa had, it looked like twice the health of the Jinx.
Yeah, we see another Quadra kill going over to the side of White Wolf in the second set of games. First game had Odin's Quadra kill on the Urgot. This time Odin facilitated the Quadra kill for Ravane here on the Kaisa, but that Quadra kill brings Ravane back up to that 600 gold bounty, and all things considered, that fight is still a neutral fight, is still a win for 9 lives, because if you trade 4 for 4, or that was a 3 for 3 fight, that's still a positive fight for 9 lives, because it's showing that they're starting to be able to actually stand up and fight. The game's not over yet, so they still have the potential to get into this game. It's looking rough for them. Their backs are against the wall, but Andy's starting to fire back, and as long as they can get Huge in on that fight, those Galio ults, the past couple fights have been pretty impactful for 9 lives to disrupt and take advantage of fights.
Yeah, it's worth noting that we talked about the mirrored globals there and how similar they are, but only one showed up in that last fight. So, not necessarily a balanced fight, as Huge actually dashes in, looking aggressive, trying to bully them off of the positioning on this Elder Dragon. Odin still pushing up in the top lane, that will be free. Ace is in the back, he could be in trouble here. He gets hit up by Andy. He pops the ult, but I think he will just drop for this. Yeah, no way to get out of that. Andy, though, gets assassinated by Ravane. What a great play on the Killer Instinct, true to its name. Now pops the stopwatch. Can the Kaisa survive this? Odin still pushing for free up in the top lane. Stand United. It looks like it came through earlier, probably onto Ace, but didn't land. Still, though, that's a win for White Wolf. Mixed Link is just going to hold them down while Wishbone tries to do the damage. Now Wishbone gets taunted up, but meanwhile, Greybeard of Odin is just ending the game. Huge is, wow, this is, oh, Wishbone support carry at the very end. Okay, so that should be the game here.
A very well played engagement by 9Lives. They're all of them diving onto and blowing up Ace, who has been caught out of position these last 2 starts of fights, but Ravane saving the fight, able to assassinate Andy before the fight goes too far south.
Yeah, that was absolutely huge. That looked like the perfect fight for 9Lives for a second there. But that's the versatility. That's the great thing about Kaisa is the way that she can play team fights front to back. She just has so many different options on what she can do to carry a fight.
Yeah, and Ravane is absolutely terrifying on this Kaisa right now. 14-2-4. About
now
an 8.
the Elder Drake. 9Lives ran right there. Don't blame them, obviously.
They're gonna start it. They want to try to do as much of this as they can before White Wolf shows up. Huge engage.
Odin, but he has no follow-up, so Andy's gonna be able to kite away from this. Meanwhile, Ravane Ravane again gets in onto Andy. Landed the Void Seeker. Triple kill. Could we see the Penta? Last week it was stolen away by Mixlink. It could be this time. There we go.
And
Ravane lands the Penta kill.
The Penta come through for Ravane. And this should be the game here. Minion waves are already pushing in. And I gotta say, what a performance from White Wolf so far. Like,
yeah. Ever since week 1, you know, White Wolf has just looked really, really good. Their week 2 performance, they did get a 2-0. It didn't look that great, but, you know, since then, Ravane is just popping off on basically whatever.
Ravane does go down to Chiseled Chansey here in the end.
And they won't actually finish.
And 9Lives is going to hold off, defend the Nexus, and now they have the minions to worry about, which aren't going to be too much of an issue. Middle inhibitor is in a little bit of trouble here, but 9Lives still holding on dearly to this game.
Forget what I said. White Wolf, not that great since week 1. Not yet.
Not yet. They've definitely shown a very strong performance this game so far.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I don't know if it's even more impressive that 9Lives is still fighting back.
And teleport is available for Odin and Ace, so they could potentially just backdoor get this Nexus if they want to. Elder Drake going to drop shortly. Good awareness by 9Lives to keep a couple people back. Oh, Mixlink, or excuse me, Ace is around it. Oh my goodness, they steal it. How in the world did that happen?
Greybeard of Odin able to finish off the Elder Dragon and steal it from under their noses with the help of Ace there.
And there's Ravane fittingly coming in, getting
and that's 4 more dead on the side of 9Lives here, and this should be the game-ending push.
You would think so. Seems like
unless the hero inhib respawns right before the Nexus dies.
Huge big time plays. Oh, got Ravane pretty low, but yeah.
GA's
so
there to save him anyways, and that's gonna be game 2 in the books for White Wolf.
Very, very good, well earned 2-0. I gotta say, impressed by the new look 9Lives. For a team that has only been playing together for about 2 or 3 days.
Absolutely.
Looked very, very solid and really, really stood up to a potent White Wolf team.
Yeah, and we just see the damage from the side of White Wolf here is just absolutely insane, especially from Ravane here. Definitely deserving of that. Definitely showing how much work he put in this game with the help of his team. Ace and Ravane both dealing so much damage here. Andy and Huge doing a bunch of damage, but just not quite enough to keep up. Granted, the side of White Wolf did have the inflated stats of hitting more tanks as well as having Infernal Soul on their side. But overall, very good vision score from White Wolf. Not quite as impressive from Nine Lives, but it's difficult to garner that vision score when you're playing on the back foot for the greater portion of the game. So we're sitting here looking at White Wolf with a 2-0. Very impressive set of games. And it looks like we've got an interview set up with Greatbeard Odin. So let's hop on over to that.
What's up?
Hey.
Oh, yeah, we're going.
So very impressive set of games. Let's game 2 was very very clean and decisive, and then Nine Lives started to fight back. But let's talk about game 1 quick while Nine Lives had you guys on the back foot. So they started off with some early game aggression, and kind of what was your guys' answer and response to kind of working your way through that and overcoming that?
Well, obviously, this is going to that classic White Wolf style. Slow the game down and go play for the late game, right? We knew we had a really strong scaling comp, so it was about just getting that pace slowed down, and then just waiting until like the Urgot comes online, the Silver comes online, and then same with eventually when the Nivea does, because she's really big on a bunch of items. So it's like, okay, we're behind right now. Let's just pump the brakes and wait till we get a few more items and then get big team fights, which we did at one of those dragons where we just kind of ran over them with a huge fear from the Urgot ult. It really brought us back into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had some really good fears from your ultimates throughout the entirety of the first game, as well as some really, really important ultimates from your Shen in the second game. Jeff, do you have any specific questions you'd like to run through?
Yeah, sure. So last week we had Ace on for the post-series interview for you guys, and he called Shen your best champion. Do you agree with that assessment?
Um, uh, he's my best tank champion. Let's go with best tank. Mechanically, my best champion is gonna be Akali. Let's be honest. That champion just has way more mechanics you can do with a champion. More you can do versus Shen, who's it's all about just basically playing the taunt and the Q pull throughs. So it's not as it's not as mechanically intensive.
And do you feel like, we talked about, or you talked about how White Wolf, they kind of have this signature styled, whether it's, a fair stereotype or not, playing for late game, playing around, the carries and protect the carries. Are you surprised that teams continue to let you have Shen, given how good Shen is at contributing to that style?
I mean, yeah, I think both times they've let it through, we've won on it, and both games I think we've had it's been pretty clean games for the most part, where it was basically smooth sailing. I'm always surprised when Shen gets left up because he's one of those champions. No matter what his state is in the meta, he's always gonna be relevant just because of that alt global pressure he provides. So yeah, I'm surprised every time it gets left up.
Yeah, Shen definitely a very useful and very key member of this last team comp, as well as the previous ones you've played him in. But you're definitely still showing that you don't need just Shen to perform, with some standout Urgot performances in the past couple of weeks as well. Do you have any shoutouts you'd like to give out?
Yeah, I guess. Well, first of all, obviously, you want to shout out Ravane. He's a little scared to come and interview with you guys. That's why they keep throwing me in here. But he's obviously popping off. We always joke he has to do 30,000 damage a game, otherwise his game doesn't count. Just to motivate him to really get in those fights and pump out all that damage you guys see him doing, hard carrying.
Yeah,
And
I know
then,
we talked about it a little bit in the second game, but he had some really, really good assassinations on to Andy AoE towards the end of that last game there.
yeah, no, he's been really doing good. He's been kind of reading my mind a lot of times, where he's just trusting to go in with me and recognizing, hey, Odin thinks we can get kills here. I'm on board. Let's just go 100% right here and just go for it. And it's been working out for us. And I just want to shout out Nine Lives. Obviously, they're dealing with a really interesting situation, and honestly, I think they came out looking stronger than the original lineup did. They were good. That first comp was cancer with all those stone plates. If honestly, if this team had more time to play together, I think would have been a real contender.
Yeah, absolutely firing at every corner in that first game, especially, but definitely did not show any signs of giving up that second game, even defending the Nexus at less than half HP towards the end of that last game. This Nine Lives roster is definitely a exciting team to watch, especially with the limited games they've had together.
Yeah, it'll be definitely interesting to see what they can do against. I think if they play Option 12 next week, that'll be a make or break game for Option 12, so it'll be a pretty hype matchup.
Well, congratulations on your games, and we look forward to seeing you next week as well as in the playoffs as you've officially secured your position with this 2-0.
Whew, feels good to have a little bit of pressure off for the next week.
All right, so another exciting set of games in the books. All right, everybody, stay tuned as we get into the next exciting set of games with Blitzkrieg against Phoenix coming up in just a minute.